Hey everyone. So in our social work practice, there's a lot of driving factors in who we are as social workers. And in some of those driving factors is that we're gatekeepers for the profession, along with that we stand for equality and diversity and inclusion. But the question is, what happens whenever some of those strong values that we as social workers have that they collide? So, for example, in this case study, we have a very traditional family. And in this traditional family, the women do not have a lot of power. And as a social worker on the case, you personally believe that the women are suffering as a result of their traditional values in their own culture. So the question is, what takes priority? The gender equality to see women thrive, or the cultural diversity saying that we respect how people live their lives in their own cultures? Well, whenever I start thinking about this specific case scenario, I also go back to our code of ethics saying that we all have a right and every person has their own dignity and worth, that they can make their own values and that they have their own autonomy and that they can make their own decisions and that they live independently. So my question in this case would be first to the woman to be able to get her alone to say, do you believe in these traditional values, or are you wanting to break your own cultural mold? And as a social worker, you have the responsibility to meet the woman where she is at. Does that mean, does she want to be in a less power, in having the non-power role in the relationship, in the family? Or does she want to break the mold and live a empowered, independent lifestyle where she's equal to all sexes and equal to the males in the family? But it's her decision at the end of the day. So my issue with this case study is that it says that you as the social worker believe that they're suffering. Well, what if they don't think they're suffering? And what if this is just their way of life? This is how they've known it since the beginning of days, and they have no recollection or even no ambition of changing. That's okay. It's okay that they want to live their life like that. We as social workers have to respect their own cultural diversity. However, if they are wanting to change, again, putting it in the power in their hands, we are simply there to assist. We are there to advocate for them. We are there to help negotiate. We are there to be that woman's support. So if she is wanting to break her cultural molds and fight for equality in her family, then we support her in that. We connect her to different resources. We connect her to individuals who have broken their cultural molds. So the whole gist of the whole entire question is, does she think she is suffering? Because the truth is that if she's not suffering, family structure and routine, that makes the family so much more dependable and reliable whenever everyone has their own roles and their own places. Those are protective factors that are being put in place, as opposed to risk factors of, a potential risk factor could be that the family's starting to split up because the woman is cutting out of her place. Again, we have to remember that it is our job to put the power in the client, and in this case, the woman's hands. Also, having the opportunity to talk to the family, even talking to children, seeing how do they view things, because a lot of our own worldviews and our own belief systems come from what have we already seen done in our culture, what have our parents done, and just making everyone aware that there are options here. And so being sure that we are promoting self-autonomy is crucial in this case. Now, this is not to say that if this woman is in a domestically abusive relationship, then there is no reason that that she should be victimized, that she should be walked upon. I am not supporting that whatsoever. And if that is the case, then we need to connect her to appropriate resources, get her family in mental health counseling, and address this issue at the root. If it is an abuse situation to where she is being a victim of patriarchal male stubbornness and abuse, then we definitely need to intervene in that. But as for the gist of this, my personal belief is that priority lies in wherever the client places priority. So if they place priority in gender equality, then we as the social worker are going to place our priority in gender equality. If they're going to place their priority in cultural diversity, then we as the social worker are going to place our priority on cultural diversity.